What's up, guys? Welcome back to Spoiling Movies, where I'm going to talk about a movie that I watched and pretty much go through it bit by bit and talk about things that I think are interesting and spoil the movie entirely by telling you about it. I do recommend it very much. If you watch after this point, you will be getting spoilers for the movie Revenge. Opening scene, we're in a desert. There is a helicopter coming in the distance. You see this little tiny helicopter. It's coming in. It's coming close. The colors are all very nice. The camera, you can immediately tell that the camera and the style is very interesting and different. It's a very colorful movie. Really good camera work. And you I guess right after the helicopter scene, you're seeing something in a guy's sunglass lens, and it's like green and different colors, and then it zooms out and you see the people. You see this woman and man getting off a helicopter. Very, very pretty, attractive girl. She's sucking on a lollipop, looking like a slut. For real, I'm not just saying that. Like that, they're making her, even all the camera work and everything, making her look like a whore for sure. They're getting into this nice fancy place. I don't really know where they are, but it looks like some desert. But like there's this really fancy house that this guy owns. They go into his nice desert house with a crazy pool and neat looking, stuff, and immediately get down to banging. And right after they show them hooking up doing their thing, they show dude on the phone talking to his wife. Like, I hope you're doing okay. I'll be back soon. I hope the kids are doing okay. Walking and talking to his wife. He's naked, and you get side dick. So he's with his side chick, and you get some side dick. But she was surprised because there is a guy in the window. She turns around and some dude, and he has a gun. And he's just sitting there, just looking at her. The guy that owns the place comes up. I'm going to call him Doucheman for now. Doucheman walks up, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here? You weren't supposed to be here for another couple of days or something." And apparently, so he's friends with this guy. And then another dude shows up, and they were both like out there hunting in the desert or whatever. So anyway, they're partying. There's like cuts to them like watching wrestling and like weird music and different things. And then they're all sitting at a table out on the porch, hanging out near the pool, and sexy girl's running around. She starts doing a dance, and she starts seducing, one of the creepy guys with the gun. She's kind of like doing a little. She's doing, not that dance that I just did, but she's doing a nice dance for strange men that showed up with guns in the middle of the desert. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea, young lady, out in the middle of nowhere with strange men that just showed up. Yeah, do a nice little dance for them. That's good survival instinct. When they're sitting at the table, one of the guys has the other schlubbier guy, not the one she was dancing with, but the other guy. Like, he's got binoculars on the side of the table, and he's just staring at her. Like, yeah, it's creepy. But what bothered me about it is that if you had binoculars and you're on one side of a table, you're not getting a close-up of someone's mouth. You're getting, like, a blurry image of their molecules and shit. I think it was the guy that dropped them off on the helicopter. The helicopter pilot gave them this little baggie of something. And immediately, for some reason, my mind was thinking, they're in the desert, whatever, cactuses. I was like, I wonder if that's like peyote or something. I've never actually seen peyote. Turns out it is. It is. I was right. I called it. When I saw the little baggie, I was like, peyote, I don't know. The dude brings it out the doucheman brings it out at the table, and they're like, oh, give me some, give me some. And he's like, no, no, no. Gives it to the girl, and he's like, take this somewhere and hide it. She walks into the house. She puts it into her locket. So they finish out their night and go to bed. Next day, she gets up, and the only person there at the table is creepy dude that she was dancing on. So this guy tells her that Doucheman is gone. The boyfriend guy that she went there with. He's gone to take their passports to get looked at or something, and he won't be home for a while. The schlubby friend is floating in the pool, and he's got a thing on his head, and he's like, yeah, he's really hungover, so he's not going to be around for a while either. And he's just looking at her all creepy with a big creepy smile. And she just starts playing on her phone, and she's like, I need to go pack. Changing, or she's taking a shower, getting out of the shower, And she's naked. You see a little bit of nudity. And Creepy Man shows up. Oh, wow, Creepy Man, where'd you come from? He's like, I've been creeping. Now, dude says, why don't you like me? And she's like, well, you're just not my type. And I was like, no, don't be honest. Don't tell him anything. And he's like, yeah, but specifically, what do you not like about me? And I was like, no, don't say anything. Don't talk to this dude. Just start running immediately. And she's like, well, you're a little small. You're a little short. I like taller guys. And he's like, well, I wasn't too short for you last night, when you were dancing on me. So what changed between last night and now? And she's like, I don't know, I need to be going. And he's like, no, I want to know. Why is this different when last night you were all dancing on me and stuff? And I was like, ah! So she immediately gets raped by Creepy Dude. And during said rape, Schlubby guy pops his head in the door and he's eating something. And the guy says to him in French, he's like, hey, either join in or buzz off. And then they do this weird creepy thing with the camera where they show him eating this candy bar and it's like it's like way up close on his mouth, like Schlubby Dude walks away, turns on the TV real loud so that he can't hear her screaming, and then goes and swims in the pool. Doucheman shows back up from doing the passport thing, and Rape Man tells him that she's not feeling well. She's being weird or whatever. He goes and she's like, don't touch me. I need to get out of here. Call me a helicopter. I need to get out of here. And he goes and talks to the guy, and I guess he finds out that he raped her or whatever, and he's like, I'll handle this. It's okay, but just shut up about it. I'll deal with this. He's like talking to her and being like, no, you gotta settle down. You're not going anywhere. Everything's fine. You can't go back yet. And she just runs. She starts running out in the desert, and she gets to a cliff. They're chasing after her. They stop. They're at the cliff, and she's like, I don't know what to do. And then one of the guys is like, hold on. Like, don't jump off the cliff. Like, there's nothing we can do right now. I'm gonna call a helicopter, and I'm gonna let you leave. I'm gonna get this over with. So he calls the helicopter, and he's like, I need you to come a little bit early and pick me up. And then immediately he runs over and pushes her. She pushes her off the cliff, and she lands on a big tree, and it like impales her, and she basically dies. When she was running for the cliff edge, I was like, oh, this is very Last House on the Left, if you've ever seen that movie. It's another rape movie where the girl escapes and she, being chased, and she's running, and she has to like dive in a lake and swim away and try to be secretive because they're hunting her. So when she falls from the cliff and is impaled, they're like, we're gonna go hunting as we planned already, me and douchebag boys, and when we come back, we'll clean her up on the way back. So after they are doing their hunting thing, she wakes up, and there's lots of really cool camera shots and like lots of really cool close-up shots, and there's like ants, like desert ants, and they're like crawling around on like the spike thing that is like sticking up out of her stomach. She is kind of upside down. She's like, what's happened? She wakes up, but she's still like impaled on this tree thing, and she sees that her cell phone and earbuds and lighter are on the ground near her, so she uses the earbuds to try and like grab the lighter. For whatever reason, she gets the lighter and puts a little bit of brush, a little kindling to start a fire on the tree that she is currently attached to. So starts a little fire underneath herself, I guess to make it easier for her to like break the tree down so she can get out. But I was like, you're just roasting yourself. You're burning yourself alive for some reason. The movie is called Revenge. So I already had seen like trailers and stuff. So I knew that she was gonna like come back and start doing stuff. Here's some fire, like returning to life, like a phoenix from the ashes. And I was just waiting for that sweet, sweet, brutal revenge. I was wondering what those dudes were hunting out there. Like later he throws a carcass on, Doucheman throws a carcass on the windshield of the car that one of them's driving, and it's all bloody. But you don't really see what it is. It looks like some kind of like cat bunny desert creature. Those guys come back to find her, to catch her dead body, but she's already gotten off the stump because of burning the thing. She is off and she's crawling. She knows they're coming because one of them throws down a can of beer, and so she's crawling and she hides herself up against the cliffside because they show up again and they're up on the cliff and they're looking down, and she finds a place to stand up and kind of hide herself against it so they don't see her. So then it cuts to nighttime. They're trying to track her down and they're following the blood trail that she's leaving. And I gotta say, she's a superhero because I don't know if anybody would have survived the fall, let alone the impalement, then walked through the woods, leaking all of her blood. Like, they were following a trail in the nighttime. They had a light on it. The trail was full of blood. She finds a lake or a river and decides to jump in so they can't follow her blood trail anymore. And I was like, Last House on the Left, it's very similar. They were following her. They could follow her blood trail. She decided to jump into the river and escape. Behind the guy, Schlubby Dude is taking a pee. He has left his gun on the ground against a rock. She, like, makes some distance between them. Like, she gets there pretty quick, grabs the rifle, and he turns around and she's right there. And she's like, click, click, click. And it's empty. And he's like, you think I'd be that stupid and leave a loaded gun, blah, blah. Grabs her. And then he like starts trying to drown her. And she grabs a knife out of his pocket when she comes back up, stabs him, and then stabs him again. And then they show his face with the knife stuck out of his eye. And she has stabbed that eye and left the knife in that eye. She went, but when he's floating in the lake with the knife sticking out of his face, she wants that knife, so she grabs the knife and she pulls it out. But she pulls it out with one hand, and I called bullshit right then. Because, like, you'd put your hand down, you'd grab the thing, and then you'd pull it out. You don't just yank it out, because that wouldn't work that way. Apparently, it's a great idea to be a smoker if you're going to the desert or any place that you might get stranded. Because having a lighter is very, very effective and important to your survival. She's got the beer can with her, the one that the dude threw over the cliff, and so she knew they were coming for her to hide. The can, she lights a fire with the lighter, and she's got the can, and it's a tall can of beer with a phoenix on the label. And I was like, I get it. Do you guys get it yet? She's got the piece of wood, one of the pieces of wood still sticking out from her, the little spike piece that had gone through, out through her stomach, and she can't get it out without, like, trying to do surgery on herself and feeling all the pain and everything. And earlier in the movie, she had heard one of the guys say that little peyote bag, if you do peyote enough, like, you won't even feel pain. Like, he heard of some dude cutting his leg off and feeling no pain after he had done too much peyote. So she grabs the little thing out of her locket. She still has the peyote. She does it. As soon as she feels no pain, she starts to carve around the wound and then just pull this big old spike piece of wood out of her stomach, and then decides to cauterize the wound by cutting the beer can open, so where like the inside of the can is flat, putting it on a stick, and then putting it in the fire so that she can close the wound and she's not going to bleed anymore. The can, the Phoenix beer can that she used to cauterize her wound has left an imprint of the phoenix on her stomach. I was like, yes! They're going for full-on B-movie ridiculousness. Because it's a phoenix! Rise from the ashes! Get it? They even go back and look at the tree that she was on, and I was, earlier I was like, why did she burn that tree? Oh, because there's ashes underneath now, and she's like reborn from the ashes, like a phoenix. Oh, there's this really interesting dream sequence where she, like, wakes up, and then the guy is there, and he blows her head off, and you see, and then she's like, it's just a dream. She wakes up, the guy's there, blows her head off again, And then she has like several other messed up dreams before she gets her head back to normal and like wakes up and is like ready to go out and get her revenge and stuff. So she's got one of the guy's guns and she's got it all loaded up, and she's still wearing like this weird little bikini thing with the phoenix on her stomach, blood all over, little bikini bottom, and she's all packed up with like guns and weapons and ready to go. And she looks a little like Tomb Raider. It was like a Tomb Raider, and she's in the desert, and these guys are like chasing her with cars and stuff. So I was like, this is like a Mad Max Furiosa Tomb Raider Lara Croft mixture. And I'm totally into it, and it's super cheesy, and I love it. Main douchebag guy has this like blue motorcycle jacket thing. I called him Dirt Bike Power Ranger because he kind of looks like a blue Power Ranger in his weird thing that he's wearing. And he has the most amazing cleft butt chin I've ever seen. It's like that butt chin is taking over all the scenes that you're in, dude. Like, you need to tell your butt chin to calm down because it needs its own movie. There's a scene where the original rapist guy is filling up his Jeep with some fuel, and she's watching from a distance. She's now tracking that guy, and he's got the fuel, and she's got this long-range rifle thing. And I was like, she's like aiming his head, and I was like, there's fuel there. Shoot for the fuel. Do like a big explosion. You got this. And then they never went for it. She kind of like misses and like hits him in the shoulder, and I was like, there could have been like a big fiery explosion or something. He notices that he's bleeding a whole bunch from his shoulder, and she is following him, and he is being hunted. So he takes off his shoe, gets the sock off his foot, ties it around to tie off the wound, and that way, she can't follow his blood trail anymore. And then he goes back and kind of hides until she passes him. And then he comes back and he's following her again. He shoots off a piece of her ear because he's all shaky and whatever. As she's still moving forward, she breaks a flashlight against a rock, and the glass from the flashlight is on the ground because she knows he's got one foot exposed on the ground. And he steps on it, he gets a big piece of glass in his foot. And I was like, that's a pretty good coincidence and a good assumption that smashing the flashlight would break the glass in just the right way where one of his feet would step on that piece of glass. He gets right up in there, close camera, and he's digging out this piece of glass out of his foot, and he's just like, and he just digs right in, gets this big old, they got sound effects, pulling the piece of glass out of his foot, and he gets it out, and then he starts laughing. He gets back in the car, and he's chasing after her. Every time he puts his foot on the gas, blood shoots out of his foot, but he's coming for her, and he's about to run her down. He's coming around like cliff corners, and she's got the gun, and she's like, pow, misses, pow, misses, pow, misses, and he gets like right up on her. Her last shot nails him in the head explodes. She dodges out of the way, real cool. 2 assholes down, 1 to go. Main douche man. Dude has gone back to the house because he's like, none of this is working. Nobody's communicating with me anymore. I know that they're dead already. She's coming out to kill everybody. He goes back to the house, and he's all bloody, and he's got his gun, and he decides to go take a shower. Like, what a great idea. When you think somebody has killed your friends and they're out to kill you, go straight for the shower. Get fully nude, put your gun outside so it doesn't get wet, and go in and you wash off all that dirt and blood stuff off yourself. I felt like they did an interesting thing by showing more nudity. There's just a whole big bunch of that dude's butt, and I was like, it's an interesting balance from the amount of like nudity that they showed of her in the beginning. You almost see more of Doucheman naked, and see his junk a couple times in this ending scene also, because you see some side dick earlier. And then later, you see just his butt cheeks for just a big old minute. So she shows up, and she starts firing at the dude, nails him once or twice, and then they start chasing each other around, like, the same few corridors, I think. It looks like they're just kind of going back and forth, like, he's over here, she's over here, she's over here, no, he's over here, he's over here. They're like, oh, no, he's over here. There's a point where she's, like, standing at a corner with her gun faced this way. He's standing on the other side with his gun faced this way. Either one of them moves, the other one's going to nail him. She almost takes a step and then notices that there's some water, some shower water, like, on the ground kind of in front of her. So she steps back and decides to take a different approach. It felt kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith a little bit for a minute. It got a little funny where they're just kind of going through the house. Where are you, honey? I don't know, honey. He gets to the kitchen and saran wraps his wounds and then goes right back for her. She finds a good moment where he jumps on top. He's about to get the best of her. She fucking nails him in the chest. Like, you're done, son. Right before she shoots him in the chest, I'm pretty sure she takes the original spike that was through her chest and sticks it up his asshole. I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Right before she gets the final shot, or after, or during, I'm not really sure. But getting naked was a bad choice, douche man. So at the end, she has accomplished killing all of those dudes. The one that raped her and the two that consented and tried to kill her are all now dead. And she kind of walks out next to the pool, and then you hear helicopter noise. And that's the end of the movie. And I was like, cool. That was cool. It was really well shot. It was really well acted. It was very brutal and gory in a good way. The practical effects were really nice. I recommend this movie because I like a good revenge movie. If you want a revenge movie, why not watch the movie Revenge? Because it's a good revenge movie. It does have subtitles, so if you're not into that, you may have less of an enjoyment. But the colors and the visuals were so rich and really neat and really cool that it made me like it a lot. So I recommend it, and I liked it a lot, and I hope you guys go check it out.